Johnson. Johnson, I said you could go home. I'll lock up.
Good evening, Harris.
Onedin, I'd no idea you'd returned.
Well, I thought I'd better not give you warning. You might have had the bailiffs waiting for me.
That's more than possible. Have you just docked?
No. I landed at Holyhead. Came on by coach and train. My ships are still waiting, just off the East Hoyle Bank.
And arriving here tomorrow?
Well, now, that depends.
Indeed.
Yes, 3 months ago, you were ready to distrain those ships, eh?
And how else can the bank recover its losses?
By leaving me some means to pay you back, man.
You can't possibly pay me back.
Oh, can't I? Out there, I've got 6 ships full of Black Sea grain, just waiting for a signal from me to say that it's safe to come into port to discharge.
Oh, safe? Safe from what?
Safe from your legal processes, man. Safe from the law. Look, I've got another contract. Iron rails from here to Paris. Now, that's a good contract. And I bought some more Black Sea grain that you can have. So you let those ships in and away and you'll be paid.
How much?
Interest on what I already owe.
It's not enough.
And some capital next time.
Oh?
Just look at those terms.
Well, perhaps my directors might consider this offer of yours.
Oh, damn you, directors. I need a decision now, man.
You realize I've not foreclosed on other Onedin Line property up to now? If I accept your offer, I should have to do so.
Oh, what property?
Well, your 2 houses, the warehouses...
Oh, that's unimportant. My ships are important, though. They earn the money.
Well, perhaps I should stretch a point on this occasion.
Maybe you'd sign that then, eh?
But I give no undertaking as to the future.
Oh, thank you.
What time will your ships be docking tomorrow?
First light.
After you've signaled that they're safe from the bailiffs.
I've already told them to come in. I thought you'd likely agree.
Never thought I'd be glad to see Liverpool.
It's your own these days, isn't it, Mr. Baines?
This here's my own boy, this old lady. How long will it last, though? Mr. Onedin's in a basin of trouble.
He'll fight his way back, he did before.
He was a young man then. He's got the will all right, but times is different, and so is he.
He should have completely changed over to steam years ago.
Oh, no, Mr. Alshin. I served my time in Fraser steamships, and there's no life in them. Now, Onedin knows that. But these creatures, you could hear them breathe.
Eggs, bacon, fried bread.
Well, I was hungry.
You burned the toast, I can smell it.
Just like being back on board ship. Where's Charlotte?
She's up at the house getting herself ready.
Huh?
To see you. It's a special occasion for her seeing her father.
Well, I'd have come up later.
Didn't write her a letter. Now, one letter while you were away, nor to me either.
Well, you know, I'm not much good at writing letters, you know.
Well, then it's about time you started. You let that girl down time and again. She waits up for you, she puts on special dresses for you, and you never turn up. It's always happening. You need a good thumping.
Of course, those are only the first 2 months' trading figures. Well, new ventures take time to start.
Disastrous. You can't stay afloat with figures like these.
Oh, come now, Mr. Macaulay.
I looked in here yesterday. 6 idle assistants, miles of shelving crammed with all the fancy stock you've chosen, but hardly a customer. In America, department stores sell cheap goods to the masses.
Cheap, Mr. Macaulay. This is England, sir.
And you're still ordering silks, brocades, expensive furniture. Oh. Pugan wallpaper.
Pugin. It's beautiful.
Beautiful, huh? I really think I shall have to withdraw my investment. You don't dispute that I can withdraw it on demand?
No. No, of course not. Of course you can.
There is an alternative. I've taken the liberty of drawing up some suggestions of my own on how I think the store should be run.
Have you indeed?
Well, it doesn't cost you a penny to read them over. Of course, I don't have your experience in this field, but I think I might have hit upon a few points. Discuss it with your wife.
I make up my own mind, Mr. Macaulay.
Mr. Macaulay's taken over the whole top floor of the Imperial Hotel and he's living it up like a lord.
Oh, really?
And got his finger into every sort of pie, by all accounts.
Miss Gaunt, I'm sorry, but I might have to sell your little house.
What?
Well, the bank insists. Of course, you and Charlotte can come and live here.
Good.
What do you mean, good?
Well, Charlotte will be delighted.
I shall get a housekeeper in, of course.
Well, housekeepers cost money, don't they?
I'm thinking of your reputation.
Reputation?
Well, you know what I mean.
There is an alternative, James.
Cheap food, cheap crockery, earthenware, tin mugs, tin trays, oilskins. It's no better than my father was doing 40 years ago.
But he thinks they'll sell.
Yes, well, it's a rapid turnover. That's his aim. I have never read a more distasteful document in my life.
Have you seen this page,
Of
Robert?
course, I've read it all.
How to obtain the capital to buy this shoddy stock. He will provide it in return for a partnership.
And I snubbed my family for that man's capital.
We must pay him back whatever the cost.
But how can I pay him back, Sarah? How?
There must be a way. Meantime, you're going to have to agree to this rubbish, Robert. We've no alternative.
And the Charlotte Rhodes has just come alongside. You know, Onedin started with just that one ship.
From his father-in-law, Captain Webster, yes?
You're well informed, sir.
And he built up from that one vessel to a fine empire, most of which he's now lost.
Oh, the Onedins and the Frasers have certainly had their changes of fortune, Mr. Macaulay.
Yes, indeed. Harris, I wonder if you could help me. I have a message for Mrs. Fogarty. A Miss Emma Callan, I believe she was, and whom I understand has some connection with the Fraser line.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. A message?
Yes. Do you, by any chance, know her present address?
Yes, I do, but, well, I suppose there could be no objection in giving it to you.
Objection?
She's in a private infirmary, sir. Miss Callan, well, Mrs. Fogarty, that is acutely consumptive. Her family insists that she's not to be troubled on business matters. However, if you can assure me that your message is of a purely social nature...
Oh, it is indeed. You have my word.
Well, I'm sure there can be no objection.
Ah, thank you. Oh, one more thing. Besides yourself, does James Onedin have many creditors?
Well, 20 or more, to my knowledge.
I'll buy in his debts.
Buy in his debts?
Yeah, you can act as my agent. Buy them in at, say, 20% discount. Anonymously, of course.
My dear sir, 3 months ago you said the Fraser line would buy up other Onedin line assets.
Yes?
And when it came to it, Mrs. Fraser disowned the purchase.
Harris, if you're not in the business of making money, I shall go elsewhere. Good day to you.
He said he'd be here by 1 o'clock. He promised. We cook him a lovely meal.
Well, you know how terribly busy he is at the moment, Charlotte.
He's always terribly busy.
But I think we should start without him. He'll get here as soon as he can.
couldn't eat.
Onedin, good morning. Morning, Mr. Baines.
Morning, sir.
Well, I observe you appear to be engaged on a very rapid turnabout.
No point in wasting time, Harris. Time's money.
Ah, then perhaps you'd care to make your promised payment to me while I'm here. Good gracious, banknotes.
Not acceptable to the bank.
Oh, of course they're acceptable, of course. That appears to leave you with very little working capital.
My name still means something in the Mediterranean. Right, Harris, if you'll excuse me, I'm busy.
I'll send you a receipt. Good day, gentlemen.
I could see him from the cliff-top walk last night with all those flares alight, working, shouting, urging them on, seeing everything was properly stowed. When does he sleep?
Oh, he probably takes a cat nap now and again in the cabin. He hasn't stopped for 2 days and nights, you know.
He will come and see us.
Oh, of course he will. Before he sails, he promised.
Mr. Baines?
Huh?
From the Harbour Master's office for Mr. Onedin.
Sir Onedin's just gone up to his house. I signed for him. What is it?
Admiralty notice. No vessel to touch any Turkish port.
Why is that, then?
I asked him that. He said there'd been an uprising. They're busy cutting the throat of any Englishman they can lay their hands on.
I can think of a few Englishmen they can try their hands on for a start.
But we've hardly seen you.
I know, my love. Times are hard. Hey, how would you like a little surprise, hmm? Now, how would you like to come and live here?
In this house?
Aye.
That would be wonderful. What about Letty?
Well, that'd be up to Miss Gaunt, wouldn't it?
Now, I've already told you, Charlotte, you're getting too old for me to cope with. You should be off to that young ladies' academy.
Oh, no, I should hate that. Please don't send me there, Papa. Besides, I won't see William anymore.
William?
It's your sister's boy.
Oh, I see. Particular friend, is he, eh?
Only recently. He goes to mathematical school, you know. I saw him the day Mr. Macaulay called.
Mr. Onedin, you coming, sir?
The day Mr. Macaulay called?
Yes, he's terribly nice. Interested in everything. He was even asking me all sorts of questions about the Onedin line.
It was only for a few minutes, James. I'd gone down the road to speak to your sister.
When was this?
Oh, I don't know, 3 weeks ago?
He offered William some money so they could take me out. William didn't accept, of course.
Mr. Onedin, we'll miss the tide.
Yes, all right, I'm coming.
James, you've seen her for barely 4 minutes.
Look, I must go. Oh, goodbye, Charlotte.
Papa.
It's good of you to spare us the time.
Mr. Macaulay, what are you doing?
Morning, Dunwoody.
You've no right to... How did you get in here?
Your charming cleaner woman let me in as soon as I explained.
Explained what, sir?
I'm a major shareholder in this company and something of its financial advisor. Or perhaps you were not aware of that.
Oh, Mrs. Fraser's going to be
Don't
most
you bother
upset by
about
this.
Mrs. Fraser. I'll do that.
Dunwoody?
In here, madam.
What the...
I found Mr. Macaulay going through the company books. He'd hoodwinked Mrs. Watson into letting him into the office.
Good morning, Mrs. Fraser.
Shall I call a constable, madam?
You'd look very foolish if you did.
It's all right, Dunwoody, thank you. I think it's time you and I had a little chat. Quite apart from cheating your way in here to go through confidential company records.
Look, as I explained to Dunwoody.
Quite apart from that, sir, you are growing altogether too mighty for your boots. Your debenture holding in this company gives you only an advisory position, as I've told you before, and then only when I choose to ask for it.
Well, how can I advise if I don't know your position? I've now seen quite enough to know it's rather different to what Harris thinks. That's all right. I shan't tell him. Not if we agree.
Agree? About what?
The future policy of the Fraser line.
I am the Fraser line. I am chief shareholder, managing director, and financial controller.
Only till your son William comes of age, he tells me.
You've spoken to William.
Oh, we had a friendly chat.
I have absolutely no intention of discussing those matters with you. And you had better not be found in here again.
Can I make a suggestion?
About what?
The future of this company. From what I've seen so far, it's clear that you've used only a quarter of the money I put in. The remainder is on deposit.
And what is that to you?
Well, I can demand it back at any time.
Then do so.
But how much better it would be if you were to use it to expand. Wisely spent. That deposit could make this the biggest shipyard in the Northwest.
Yes, and you could demand it back whenever you chose, and I would be completely at your mercy.
Not if you were to make me a partner.
A partner?
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll draw you up a memorandum. What you should be doing from what I now know.
I am not interested.
Oh, it's just a scheme on paper. Now, you'd be a fool not to take advantage of that, Elizabeth. And whatever else you are, you're no fool, my dear. I'll send it round as soon as it's ready.
Piraeus is a pleasant port, but food is expensive. I had to pay through the nose for fresh meat, but managed to beat them down over saltfish and potatoes. I trust you and Letty are keeping well. Keeping well. Full stop. Your loving father, James Onedin.
Be finished unloading in an hour, sir. They're good stevedores for all their ouzo.
Good, good. So when's the crew due back?
8 bells the afternoon watch.
Good. Yes, I want to be underway by second dog watch.
Very good, sir.
Any mail for me? Any cables?
There's nothing in the harbour office. Cables?
Aye. From a merchant bank I'd contacted for that grain that we were to pick up.
Which you bought forward, didn't you, sir?
Well, I'll put down a deposit. We need another £800 to release it.
And if there's no word from them?
Oh, we'll get credit. Don't worry.
Well, if you say so, sir.
But I must see him.
You tell me who you are and what your business is, then I'll see if he'll see you.
You're an English vessel.
Of course.
And you're bound for Bulgar through the Dardanelles and the Sea of Marmora.
That's correct. But I don't know whether he wants to... All right, come back. You can't go marching in there.
I'll soon deal with him, Mr. Halshin.
I apologize for bursting in on you like this.
Hey, you out.
All right, Baines. Well, your business appears to be rather urgent.
It is. My name is Margus, and I have a proposition, an assignment to offer.
I already have a contract.
Oh, this need not interfere with that. It is something that you could do en route.
Oh?
Perfectly legal, you understand.
Ah, well, I'm glad about that.
What?
That it's perfectly legal.
Ah. Yes, well...
Well, perhaps you'd get to the point,
You are aware of what is happening in Turkey?
Yeah, we had an official notice about that.
Well, my family are there. I must get them out. I want you to put in, take them aboard, and then take us onto the Bulgarian coast.
Put in where?
A very remote spot in the Sea of Marmara. It would be very simple and safe.
What about that Admiralty notice, sir?
There's a risk.
Very slight. And you would be well rewarded.
Well, how much?
I'm not quite sure what I should... Cash, of course. £500. My estate is in the lowlands near Belixia. 4,000 acres. 3 entire valleys of the finest lemon trees. It's a magnificent sight. Beautiful country. I worked all my life to build it from absolutely nothing. It's the only landscape my son has ever known. But you know how the Turks hate us, the English, the land grabbers, imperialists.
Well, it's happening all over the world. We've just been thrown out of South America.
Where are your wife and son now?
On the estate with a dozen or so servants, or they can defend themselves up to a point. I spent 4 days trying to get military assistance, but the administration, too, has broken down completely.
And you say your estate is on the coast, eh?
Close to the coast.
Well, how far inland?
Oh, about 60 miles.
What?
Oh, you can sail up the River Iraqi. The estate is almost beside it. It's a very wide river. You can navigate it easily in this.
You said on the coast?
I said a remote spot.
Oh, come on. Show me.
Here is the river mouth, and the estate is about here. It's really very simple.
Oh, and you say the cash is on the estate?
On the estate. You need have no fear about that.
Sign here, please.
It really is terrible stuff. It's appalling. I presume Mr. Macaulay has guaranteed payment for this.
He's already paid for it, sir. Will you sign here, please? Where it says tradesman.
And ask your workmen to make less noise, please.
I don't think that's my men, sir. Good day, please.
Robert! The place is full of customers. May I come in?
Oh, of course, Mrs. Onedin.
I saw Charlotte down on the quay. She said you were here. My goodness, that girl is getting more like her mother every day.
Yes, she is.
Yes, and Onedin was a fine wife. James never appreciated her till after she was dead. But then he never does appreciate what's under his nose. I see you've had the windows open the past few days.
Yes, I've been keeping the place aired and dusted.
Now, Letty, that's not part of your duties.
No, but it's in case Charlotte and I came to live here.
Oh?
Oh, purely a business arrangement. In case our house has to be sold up. For the bank, you know.
Seems very quiet.
It's always like this.
You know it well.
Certainly.
You think this river is deep enough to take us all 60 miles?
I should think so.
Think so.
Well, I've seen larger ships than this upriver. It should be all right.
There's a line of tar barrels. See, sir? Just barrels tarred over and painted. They seem to mark a channel.
The local navigation's rather primitive, I fear.
What's that?
Well, that's an old Ottoman fort, last used in the Russian wars, I think.
Empty?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
No chart. We'll have to feel our way up, sir. I'll put a man up forward to follow the course of the channel, boys, and have a leadsman take soundings as we go.
Good.
Mr. Alchin.
You there! Go forward out on a jib boom and sing out if we move out of the channel! Aye, sir!
When did you leave home to come for help, Mr. Marcus?
8 days ago.
Was there any sign of unrest in these parts then?
No, that was far to the east. There'd be much more evidence of it if it had reached here.
What would that be, I wonder?
Just a local farmer, I imagine. There's a lot of fine game to be shot around here.
What firearms have we got aboard, Baines?
3 rifles and a handgun, sir.
Go and check, will you?
By the back! By fellows! Leave a shot! Look out there!
Point to starboard.
1 point to starboard, sir.
I'm being watched, sir.
I have a brace of pistols.
Oh, where?
In my baggage.
Mr. Margeson, I don't think you've been telling us the half. If you weren't expecting trouble, how come you're armed?
For my ride across country. I rode for 4 days to get assistance, do you recall?
But, I mean, you've lived in this country all your life.
Oh, that means nothing to bandits. Besides...
Besides what?
I've always run my estate efficiently, and that makes one hated. You will understand that, Mr. Baines.
3 fellows for the deep! Sand and shingly, sir!
No more barrels, sir. Just make no more. Can you see the bottom? There's sand, sir, yes. Then keep a sharp lookout for the channel. Sing out if you see shallows or barrels. Aye, sir.
Some of the crew are complaining that they was never told about this part of the voyage, sir.
Oh, what?
Well, we've heard about the Admiralty notice, you see, that if we run into fighting or anything, we couldn't get any assistance.
Damned if ours. We'll be wanting a forecastle parliament next.
No, sir. But it might help if you was to suggest a small bonus to each man, though.
Shallows in ahead, sir. In ahead. Hard a port! Drop anchor! Quickly, lads, quick! Get the canvas down!
Up ahead, so. Oh, damn you, are you blind? Can't you see? We can't go any further upriver.
It's working, sir. Starboard bow.
Well, I'll be.
Captain Baines, blow the jolly boat and that thing alongside.
Filthy drunk, sir.
It's Sonnet,
You know him?
the owner.
Oh, stinks.
You know you could get right upstream in this, Onedin, no problem at all.
Quite right, sir. It's a very shallow draft, and the boiler's still warm here. The Auction could be towing the Charlotte roads into deep water while we're fetching them in this.
Oh, don't like it. Out of a risk. It's for £500.
All right, 750.
Is it true?
I don't know.
Oh, you must have some idea.
Look, James and I don't live in each other's pockets.
No, but you're in each other's confidence.
Confidence? Absolute nonsense.
It was you that put up the capital for that last venture of his, that coal from Cardiff.
We heard the rumour.
It's more than a rumour that... Look, Letty as good as told me that James is going to sell the house.
Indeed.
To pay the bank.
What Sarah is asking is, does James propose to sell our house too?
Your house?
Well, I've only got a 6-monthly lease on it, and it's almost expired.
I see. You mean Charlotte has somewhere to go? She can go and live with him, whereas you have nowhere.
Exactly.
Wait a minute, though. Isn't there accommodation above your new shop?
No. We're not going to live over a shop again.
We should like to know what he plans to do.
Well, the best person to ask in James's absence is Mr. Harris. He would know James's plans.
But Harris would never divulge.
No, I don't mean Harris himself. There are other ways. Tell me, if James were to sell your house, what could you do?
Buy it ourselves.
Would the bank lend you the money?
Oh, certainly not.
No. But there is another source.
Oh, don't be daft, Sarah. I've borrowed enough money off that
no,
man already.
I wasn't thinking of Macaulay.
And who?
Elizabeth. You borrowed £100,000 not so long ago.
Yes, and I'm spending as little of it as I have to. You know, that Macaulay. Have you noticed how all his dealings seem to be with the Onedin family? You, Robert, James, and me. No one else.
It's coincidence.
Nothing that man does is coincidence.
Well, what other explanation could there be?
We hardly know anything about him.
Nobody does.
But it was Macaulay who hastened to buy up all James's ships. Perhaps he'll buy your house with you as tenants if you approach him the right way.
Now, it wouldn't be necessary if you lent us the money.
Sarah, that 100,000 was invested in the Fraser line.
Elizabeth, there are ways and means. I mean, surely you wouldn't stand by and watch us thrown out onto the street, now, would you?
Well, it hasn't come to that.
No, but if it did.
He says there was an uprising in his village of Susurlu.
Benim kayınbabamın ve birçokların evlerini yaktınız.
His house was burned to the ground, and his father-in-law's house, and many houses.
Ortada iş ve ticaret kalmadı.
He has no trade anymore. It's all gone to the jackal.
Where is his village?
Oh, it's a long way off.
Inland. The way we're going.
Beyramish.
Bayramıç ve Ezine'deki alaylar ayağa kalkanların tarafına geçtiler.
Troops at Beyramish and Ezina have gone over to the rebels.
Ortada kanun hiçbir şey kalmamış.
There's no more law and order.
Sen Margeson değil misin?
Yalan atma.
Seni öldürene kafiyet var ve sana yardım yapanlara da.
What is it?
He says there's a price on my head. It's nonsense, of course.
Also something about anyone helping you?
You speak Turkish?
Well, enough to know when you're lying or missing something out.
He says anyone else helping me will also be punished.
Tell him why we're here.
Oh, I don't.
Tell him.
Bunla beni, Emila mi, Malve mulkamu, Kaçmira gemilaş.
Fakat ben size yardım yapamam. Eğer beni sizlerle ne olmak asarlar keserler bilmiyorsun ne yapacaklar bana. Ben burada kalamam gideceğim. Ya elim kaç.
Right, Mr. Marcusson. We're turning back.
Mr. Onedin, sir. Quick! Look ahead!
Damn!
I see. It's too late to turn back. You won't have seen the way Europeans do.
Right. Marcusson, get your friend Alibaba on the wheel. Quick!
Kendisi bana emir veremez.
Get on with it.
Dumenekesh! Dumenekesh!
We'll lie low. You tell him. Tell him to talk his way through. Tell him if he doesn't, I'll blast his head off.
Aga bishi, yakalarasha, alari, senin, alibashi.
Sana ya. Sıtma mı tuttu? Yok yok çok iyi çok iyi. Ya öyle. Nereye böyle? Her günkü iş köyüme gidiyorum şimdi.
Hadi canım bırak şimdi. Ne var kayıkta ne var? Söyle bakayım ne var?
Bir şey yok efendim hiçbir şey yok.
Vardır vardır. Gelip bir bakayım.
Bir dakika ya. Senin ne hakkın var gelip burada kayımı arayacaksın?
Eş gibi be. Hadi geç hadi. Hadi.
What happens when we want to get back, sir? I wouldn't try it, matey.
About 8 miles inland.
8 miles?
About that.
You said just by the river.
I said near the river. If you prefer to stay here
No,
while I
no,
go ahead.
no. I've come so far now, I'm not turning back. You know, everything you've told me is a lie. We're surrounded by cutthroats. We're in the middle of a damn war.
All the gunfire's coming from the far bank. If they're coming from the east, as I suspect, then they won't reach the estate for several hours.
What in such a hurry, son?
Right, sir. You leave him to me.
Go on back. Go on.
Come on, Onedin. Right, in you go. In. Find that eccentric lever. You throw it in. Now you get it out. Go on. It's just through here.
Pretty quiet, isn't it?
Yes.
Did you leave a guard on watch or anything?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Helena! Helena! Arthur! Where in heaven's name is everybody? Fareed!
They probably left with the servants. Perhaps not very long ago.
Well, they would have left a message. They knew I was coming back.
Look, Markison, we will make a search, but if we don't find anybody, we'll have to get back to that boat.
Go back? I must find them. I've got to find them, and you must help me. The money.
Oh, damn the money.
Oh, my darling. Where's Arthur?
You're a shrewd man, Mr. Macaulay.
Well, I'm glad you approved my memorandum. I've been working on it for some time.
Oh, I didn't say approve.
But it makes sense to you.
As a plan for the future of the Fraser line, it's bold, original, and ambitious. But of course, I will have to read it several times before I come to a decision, especially the section about partnership.
Of course.
Meantime, there is something you can do for me.
Yes?
I want some information. You could get it. If you did, I'd know I could trust you.
Well, of course.
I want an accurate account of the financial plans James has agreed with Mr. Harris.
And that's all?
For the moment.
The servants went the day after you left. They cleared out overnight. With all the horses, everything. We woke up the next day, Arthur and I, and they just disappeared. They'd taken all the valuables, money. We can't have known them as well as we thought we did.
Markison, I found a pony cart in your stables. Now, we could put your wife on there, maybe in a blanket, eh?
Couldn't leave this place.
Yes, of course you could. Yes, we'll get you down to the boat. You'll be all right. Now, come on, see if you can lift her up, eh?
How did it happen with Arthur?
Oh. It was such a silly thing. He said we should just wait here until he got back. So we lived here for 5 days, just the two of us. So strange and quiet without the servant. We'd both forgotten about the water. Got so used to Ferry changing the filters every day. I nursed him for 2 days. I couldn't leave him. Where could I go for help? Nearest hospital's 250 miles. Never in any pain. Any more than I am now.
Alison, come on, pick her up. Let's get her onto that cart.
Oh, my dear man. I'd be dead before you got me anywhere near a doctor. And anyway, my son is still here. Do you have children?
Yes, I've got a daughter.
Well, then you'll understand.
Mrs. Madison, your son is dead.
Yes. So there's no point anymore, is there?
Please go, Onedin. I'm sorry I can't pay you.
Here. Don't you realize what the Turks will do when they get here?
I shall make quite sure that they do nothing to either of us. Nothing that we shall know about anyway. Look out there. We started with nothing. We worked the first 4 acres out of stony nothing. And now it's 3 valleys filled with lemon trees. And it belongs to us. It's more than ours. It's us.
People can only know 2 loves in their lives, Mr. Onedin. Their family and their life's work. We've been very lucky, because we've known both. But we only had Arthur. Please go now.
I can't. Look, I can't just leave you here.
You must. Please.
By staying, you only endanger Captain Baines and your ship. Think of your daughter. Go quickly, Onedin. You should get through if you go now.
They think the Marchesses are aboard.
Efendi! Önümüzde kayıklar var efendi! Burada önümüzde kayıklar var. Bak.
Sony, keep over to the left.
Way anchor! Up with the mainsail!
could have been you, mate.
Yes, sir. I didn't think none of us were going to make it.
Well, I think we're safe now.
On the starboard! Yes, sir. Keep her steady, Mr. Alshin. We'll be out of range in a minute.
We met an English warship while you was up river, sir. Because we broke the Admiralty notice, we were forbidden to pass through the Bosphorus.
It was in the notice.
Then we'll turn south, Mr. Alchin. We'll find something on the way home.
Yes, sir.
Let that girl down time and again. James, she's seen me for barely 4 minutes.
I'm sorry, I have to go.
Housekeepers cost money, don't they?
I was thinking of your reputation.
Reputation?
Oh, damn it, you know what I mean.
There is an alternative, James.